Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to day 13 of our 31-day Rock Piano for Beginners workout challenge. And yes, we're more than a third through, and we're getting pretty fluent, right? These basics, that's the idea. So yesterday and the day before, we really learned the D blues scale with the right hand pretty well. Now we're going to just dive right in and just play a D in the left hand, like we did with the A blues scale early on. Remember the first day? And we're just going to play the A. And I'm not going to give you any particular rhythms to play. This is like you're in the real band and you're just sort of saying, what can I play here? Okay, well he's playing bum, 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 so I could hit that. Instead of going maybe that, you just hit the first and then the syncopation. It's like the one in the hand of two. You know, if I'm playing a, maybe you could just go bum, or quarter notes. Really just use your ear, your intuition, and play something that you can play in the left hand while you're improvising in the right. So you want to keep it pretty basic. And on the other hand, maybe you don't do it all the time. Maybe you play a few left hands, and then you let that go when you play the right hand. You can go back and forth. Remember, we're playing at whatever level we can play at in this moment. This is the time to go, okay, excuse me, I got to practice for 12 hours. No. You play what you can do now, and you're usually capable of sounding a lot better than you think if you work within those limits and stretch accordingly. So I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes, and here we go. So the D blues scale, remember it's D, F, G, A flat, A, C, and then if you want to hit the high D and go on, you can. Now you can use the fingerings 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cross your thumb under for A, C, D with 1, 2, 3. But that's a rare instance. That's only if you're playing it like that. And how often do you actually do that? Because you're improvising. So there's no real fingerings. And if anybody says you have to use the same fingerings every time, you could try it yourself. I'm not going to say not try it, but I've never found that works. It's much better to think on your feet and just get used to playing with whatever fingers are under or right where the keys are under them right at that moment. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to establish a groove first. So just sort of take this in. And actually, let's just start with our left hand. That's probably better. So just listen to what I'm going to do. Nice ballad. 1, 2, just on D. Just the D in the left hand. Here we go, just try the left hand. Sometimes I'll hold my pinky down and play more with my thumb. Keep going with just the left hand. Now we'll bring in a little improvising. Simple. back to this left hand. Now the right hand. Starting to get into it a little, right? So let's go to more of a sort of straight ahead rock feel, like a little faster. I mean, 1, 2. Just listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go minor. Now just the left hand. Both hands if you want. Something a little different. We're going to play 2 quarter notes in the left hand and stop. So it'll be 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and just have those 6 beats rest. And in those 6 beats, we're going to play stuff with the right hand. So we're not going to play the right while we play the left. So it'll be a call and response, or kind of a stop time. Leonard Skinner did something like this in the end of Freebird during that long guitar solo jam. He kind of went boom, boom, and just let the rest of the, maybe one measure at that, yeah, because they went 3, 4. Yeah, so it was just one measure. We're letting it go for 2. So it'll sound something like this. So 2 Ds, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom. And I think what you're noticing is that, especially when there's no rhythm section and it's just a solo break, the rhythms are much more important than the actual notes and stuff. So if it's like bum 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 bum, it could be any notes. Or matter of fact, let's just use that rhythm. So let's sing it together 4 times. So we'll go bum 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 bum. So bum 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 bum. 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 Good. Now let's play the left hand. 2 of those, and then we'll sing it. 1, 2, left hand. Bum 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 bum. 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 Good. Now let's play the 2 left hand notes, and we'll both play that exact rhythm in the right hand. And we can just start on a D, or you can just add 1 or 2 notes, but don't go crazy. Eventually, you can do that too, but start out simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's alternate. We're going to do that 4 times. So that's 8 measures. 4 times 2, 8. And then we're going to just jam with a steady rhythm for 8 measures. And we'll go back and forth. Whenever we get to the stop time, we'll do that same rhythm, if I can remember it. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so we'll start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's do that again, and you can play any rhythms you want in those breaks. I will not play during the breaks. It's just you. So just keep a steady rhythm. We'll start with this, the steady rhythm. 1, 2, 3, improvise. Whatever rhythm. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Good, good. So that stop time in developing your musical intuition, your instincts of what to play, and also the ability to improvise and keep a steady beat without a rhythm section at that moment. That's a big thing. Good. So I'd like to play something a little different now, because there's a certain element of rock that has swing 8th notes like jazz. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like long, short, almost like the first 2 parts of a triplet and then the third. Triplet, triplet, triplet. Although the faster you get, the more even it does get. And there's a certain element of rock that uses that. Tunes like Moondance, pieces by the Doors. Couldn't think of that for a second. The Grateful Dead will do something like that, like the song Truckin'. You hear the Allman Brothers go into these, these blues with swing 8th notes. And also even walking bass lines. The Beatles, Can't Buy Me Love, used a walking bass line. Old 50s rock and roll Elvis, you hear all these bass lines, right? So there's a place where if you picture 3 circles, and one's jazz, one's blues, one's so-called rock. There's a middle section where they all overlap, and that's kind of where we're going with this. And so I'm gonna keep a walking bass line on D minor, and let's go for it. Let's improvise with the blues scale. So even though I'm doing the walking bass line, you can still do some, long notes or hit some of these or whatever using the octave. Just get used to playing something in your left hand while I keep the bass line going. 1, 2, 1, 2, improvise. Fours. I'll go first. 1, 2, 3. Now your turn. So it's that jazzy side with swing eighth notes that has influenced a lot of rock. Even the Rolling Stones, they'll do something either with swing eighth bluesy, but they'll go into some jazz kind of beat. Charlie Watts, drummer of the Stones, he wrote a children's book about Charlie Parker, heavily into jazz. A lot of Keith Richards knows about jazz. Ron Wood, they all know something about jazz because the thing about jazz is that the universe is expanding and infinite. So the more you get into jazz, harmonically adding ninth chords, sevenths, or different ways to improvise, and with the flexibility of the improvisation, the rhythmic flexibility, it's expanding. Your possibilities are expanding all the time. Rock can be like that, but for a lot of musicians, like Jeff Beck would be a great example. Elton John at times, great example of always expanding their horizons. But at the same time, rock tends to be more like, okay, I know these things, and I'm going to use them in deeper ways. So it's a different emphasis. That's a big generalization. It could be argued the other way too. But basically, that's why a lot of jazz rock musicians get more and more into jazz, even if they're not really playing jazz on their gigs. They can, and they do at home, and they bring some of it in when they want to. It's fun to hear the Stones play something. Maybe it's like jazz fusion, but they can do it. Mick Jagger can solo on harmonica over that stuff. Let's go to a blues groove. Wow, I had about half of that more to go, but 20 minutes is up. So this is great. We learned the D blues scale. Tomorrow we'll start in with start applying it to different songs, and also learn the blues in D either tomorrow or maybe the next day. We'll see if we get to it tomorrow. So thanks for being here. There's a couple of things you can click on if you want. There's a video I think you may enjoy, some lessons at Keyboard Improv that deal with rock piano, different styles, and a subscribe button if you want to get my notifications of new videos. Thanks for being here, and this is great. You're going through this whole series, and then if you want, you can do it again. That's what fluency is. That's what I was talking about, going deeper and deeper into the music and into our potentiality as musicians. So thank you, and see you tomorrow.